Let me ask you something. What if almost everything we've been taught about motivation is, well, wrong? We're all familiar with the basic idea, right? Reward the good, punish the bad. The classic carrot and the stick. It's how most of our businesses and schools are run. But what if it's all built on a fundamentally flawed foundation? Today, we're diving into Daniel Pink's work to uncover this amazing, kind of shocking disconnect between what science knows and what business does. To really get our heads around this, let's start with a little puzzle. This is a classic experiment in creative thinking, so take a good look. Your goal is simple. Figure out how to solve it as fast as you can.
So what you're looking at is called the candle problem. It was actually designed way back in 1935 by a psychologist named Carl Duncker. It's become a legendary test of creative problem solving. Let me break down how it works.
Okay, so here's the deal. You've got these three things: a candle, a box of thumbtacks, and some matches. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to get that candle fixed to the wall in a way that the wax won't drip down onto the table. Now, a lot of people try to tack the candle directly to the wall. That doesn't work. Some try to melt the side of the candle and stick it on. Also nope. The key here is to overcome something psychologists call functional fixedness. You have to see that box not just as a container for the tacks, but as a potential platform for the candle. Now, keep that solution in your head for a minute, because to understand why this puzzle is so incredibly important, we first need to talk about the operating system that's running in the background of most of our lives. Daniel Pink has a great name for it: Motivation 2.0. So what is Motivation 2.0? At its core, it assumes that we're all kind of like simple machines. If you want us to perform better, you just need to apply the right external pressure. It's a relic from the early 20th century, a time when most work was routine, mechanical, and you just had to follow the instructions. And the tools for this operating system? Oh, you know them well. We call them carrots and sticks. The carrot is the reward, the promise of something good that'll get you to do more of a behavior. The stick is the punishment, the threat that will get you to do less of it. Simple, right? Seems effective. But is it really?
Okay, let's go back to the candle problem, because this is where things get really, really interesting. In the 1960s, a scientist named Sam Glucksberg used this exact puzzle to put those carrots and sticks to the test. And what he discovered was so revolutionary, it should have changed the entire way we think about work.
Here's what Glucksberg did. He split people into two groups. The first group, he just timed them to establish a baseline. But the second group, he offered them a cash prize for being the fastest. Now, you'd think the money would have lit a fire under them, right? Wrong. The group with the financial incentive took, on average, 3.5 minutes longer to solve the puzzle. The reward didn't just not help, it actively made them worse at the task.
Just let that sink in for a second. The very tool that was supposed to speed up creativity did the exact opposite. Why? It's because for problems that require any kind of flexible, out-of-the-box thinking, like our candle problem, these if-then rewards are an absolute disaster. They narrow our focus so much that we become blind to the very creative possibilities we need to find the solution.
And believe me, this isn't just about one little puzzle. Decades of research have shown that when we lean too heavily on these external rewards, they can be downright toxic. They can completely extinguish our natural internal curiosity. They turn play into work. They crush creativity, they encourage people to cut corners and act unethically, and in the end, they often just make us less motivated to do great work. So we're stuck with this huge mismatch, right? Our modern world demands creative, conceptual work, but our businesses and schools are still running on Motivation 2.0, this old, outdated system that's totally incompatible with today's challenges. It's like we're trying to run modern software on a computer from the 1980s. It just won't work. What we need is an upgrade. And here it is, Motivation 3.0. This new system isn't powered by those external carrots and sticks. It runs on something much, much deeper. It runs on our third drive. This is our built-in, intrinsic, human desire to learn, to create, and to make a meaningful contribution to the world. Now, these two operating systems foster two very different kinds of behavior. Motivation 2.0 gives us what Pink calls type X behavior. X for extrinsic. This is fueled entirely by external rewards like money or status. But Motivation 3.0 cultivates type I behavior, I for intrinsic. This is powered by internal desires like freedom and purpose. And here's the absolute key. Type Is almost always outperform type X's in the long run because their drive is coming from the inside. So how do we actually build an environment that runs on this better, more human system? Well, the science points to three core elements. You can think of them as the essential nutrients for our intrinsic drive. First up is autonomy. This is our deep, deep desire to be in the driver's seat of our own lives. We all have a need to feel some control over our tasks, our time, our technique, and our team. It's the difference between being a player and being a pawn. Next, we've got mastery. This is that wonderful human urge to get better at things, to make progress, and to develop our skills in something we actually care about. Mastery isn't a destination, it's a mindset that tells us our abilities can always grow. And finally, there's purpose. This is the big one. This is the desire to connect our work to a cause that's bigger than just us. When you take autonomy and mastery and you connect them to a higher purpose, that's when you unlock the most powerful kind of motivation imaginable. And look, this isn't just some feel-good theory. This is a powerful business strategy. I absolutely love this quote from Tom Kelly of the famous design firm IDEO. He says that mediocrity is what's truly expensive. And the antidote? Creating an environment built on autonomy, mastery, and purpose. That is how you unleash the kind of innovation that carrots and sticks just can't buy. So that leaves us with one last question to think about. When you look at your own work, your company, maybe even your own life, are you being managed with that old, outdated set of controls? Or are you being truly motivated by tapping into these deep, powerful human drives? The answer, well, it could change everything.